Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, Am I the A-hole for leaving a date and not paying for her food? And a shout out to Jason for sending this story. And guys, this story is about a guy who learns, like many before him, why you do not do food dates for first dates or early dates. Why you do a drink and nothing more. Because a drink, you can pretty much get an idea of their character, and if you don't like them, you're out of there. But food, guess what? There are a lot of gals out there that deliberately show interest in a guy only to get him to take her out and spend money on her on a big expensive date, restaurants, all that. It's a bad idea. And the worst thing is when a guy's on a date with a girl and she treats him like crap and he still hangs around. And you're going to see here. However, our guy handles things right by kicking her to the curb. And let me tell you, the girl in this story is just insufferable. She is just a giant a-hole, but everybody's got to learn somehow. So it starts off, says here, I, a 21-year-old male, recently went on a date with Steph, a 21-year-old female. We met on Tinder. Smack. Tinder's for hookups, not dating and whining and dining and all that, dude. Right then and there, you communicate to her, you're easy. And I messaged for a couple of days before Steph asked me out for a drink, which I agreed. We hadn't spoken too deeply, mostly about music and hobbies. But I figured it's better to meet in person and see if there's a vibe rather than text and potentially waste time. Well, I'm all for meeting up and everything instead of wasting all this time texting and all that crap. The problem is Tinder's for hookups. And guys that will act like Tinder's a way to meet girls, that communicates to the Tinderellas, oh, I got a nice guy here. He's not inviting me over to hook up, even though we just started talking an hour ago. He's a nice guy, and I can milk him. And watch this. So we meet up, and things are going okay at first, but got pretty hostile quickly. Hostile. As I mentioned, Steph asked me out for a drink, and she picked the place. Smack. No, you're the guy, you picked the place. And you're going to see why. About 20 minutes after we got there, she started to complain about the place nonstop. She didn't like her drink, she didn't like the staff, and she didn't like the decor. I then asked her if she wanted to go someplace else. Where we were, there was like a dozen other places within a 5-minute walk. No, this is when you leave. If she's complaining constantly about everything, I'll tell you everything, dude. I mean, but obviously this guy doesn't have a lot of experience. And what do you want to bet that she was probably doing that on purpose to get him to take her someplace for food? Oh, you don't like it here? Okay, let's go someplace else. She gave a big sigh and said, no, this was fine. And I asked what made her pick this place. She said she'd been here a few times. I thought it was really weird. She was complaining about a place she picked, and she'd been here before, and she knew what to expect. I asked if the place had changed recently, and she said no. Sort of a red flag. But I let it slide, and we continued talking, and things did get better. Smack. Dude, there were a lot of red flags here, and you keep falling for it. Obviously, he's inexperienced. She's a jerk. Walk away. Who cares? There's other options out there. Well, he's going to wish he did. We connected on a few things and spoke for about an hour or so. I thought things had turned around basically. I asked at this point if she was hungry, and she said yes. I said I knew a good sushi place down the street, and if she wanted to go there, and I suggested sushi because in her bio on Tinder, it mentioned that she loved sushi. And we had texted about it together, and earlier how we were both fans. She agreed that she liked that. Okay, what can go wrong? After all, she did express that she likes sushi. Seriously, what could go wrong? Watch this. Well, I picked up the bill for the drinks, and we went to the sushi place, and again, things were going well for about 20 minutes, and then her attitude changed. She asked me why I brought her there, to this restaurant. I didn't know what she meant. It wasn't run down or cheap. It was a nice sushi place, if anything. She explained she thought it was weird I brought her specifically to sushi because she's Asian. Oh, for goodness sake almighty. Here we go. She was starting drama at the other place about she didn't like the drink, she didn't like the service, she didn't like the decor. And he took her someplace else. Then she expressed interest in. Now she's insinuating he took her for sushi because he's racist. Oh, I'm Asian, that's why he took me to starting drama, right? I bet he's not wishing he just met a drink and left. It says here, I said to her, this isn't even the same kind of Asian that you are. This is Japanese and you're Vietnamese. Those are two pretty distinctly different cultures. Well, she ought to know that. She then said, it's still Asian, so it's the same thing. I'm sure there's Asians watching this video right now that are like, no, we're not the same thing. That's like going around saying, okay, Chinese, Japanese, you're kind of close by, you're all the same. Obviously, Chinese and Japanese would have an opinion about that. Seriously. And I said, no, it's not. But she insisted it's Asian, so it's the same thing. At this point, I was pretty done with Steph. I thought I'd just finish the meal, leave, and wouldn't need to see her again. I would just get out of there right then and there. See, guys, one drink. Obviously, she obviously does this all the time. She plays the trick she suggested the drink place, acted like she didn't like it, predictably got him to say, let's go someplace else, trying to make her happy. And now she got what she wanted. She's getting her free meal, thinking he'll pay for it. And she's just crapping on him because she has no respect for him. I was pretty quiet, and she asked me about school. We hadn't really talked about it much, although I knew we were both in university. I said, I'm doing my undergrad thesis right now as I'm in the final year. She asked me about it, and I said I'm basically doing interdisciplinary studies, focusing on philosophy, law, and mixing some technology in there, as I'm writing about one's self online and the legality of online identity. She began to laugh at me and said she never heard the word interdisciplinary before. So now she's giving me a hard time about school. I must have made that up to sound smart or something like that. I pretty much ignored the insult and said she can just Google it if she's not sure what it is. She kept giggling about how I made up the word. She said she was getting a real degree, and I asked her what, and she said literature. Literature? Yeah, because there's so many job openings for people with literature degrees. I have a younger cousin who's like 6 years younger than me. I haven't seen her in years because I don't care for her, frankly. Total far left libtard type. Really annoying. Trust me on this. 20-some years ago, I remember seeing her mom, my aunt, and I said, oh, what's the such and such going to school for? She goes, oh, literature, English. And I'm being polite. I said, oh, that's nice. And her mom, my aunt, says, what job is she going to get with that? Well, guess what my libtard younger cousin today is doing? She's working in a bakery. Now, there's nothing against anybody working in a bakery, but the point is, she went and paid for school and got her degree in literature or English or some damn thing, and she didn't become a teacher or anything like that, right? So there you go. And she's crapping on him, and he's going to be probably a lawyer. See, she's just a jerk, but he shouldn't have taken her to dinner. Well, I snapped back at that point and said I was surprised that she had such a weak vocabulary, as she thinks I'm making up words and is a lit major. Yes, I probably should have been sassy like that, but I was so done with this girl at this point. No, you absolutely had a right to give it back to her because she's a total jerk. But then again, she's 21. I'm guessing she's good looking, she's in her prime, so she likes to crap on guys. I bet you this guy talked to her on Tinder, told her to come over to his apartment and says something with confidence. She'd be treating that he'd be balls deep in her. Not that you'd want to. She said again, at least she has a real degree, and asked what I'm going to do after graduating. I said probably law school. I've already applied, I'm just waiting to hear back in the new year. She again laughed at me and said I was wasting my time with more school. If you're going on for a law degree and you do it right and everything like that, no, you're not. She had a job lined up at her dad's company doing HR or something like that. I can't remember exactly what she said. Oh, daddy's company, huh? So she's just majoring in anything, frankly. She's set up for life. She started laughing about how I'm probably broke and will have a mountain of debt while she has a nice job lined up. Man, this chick is a freaking a-hole. But you know she's probably giving him a hard time, so he's like, oh yeah, I have money. I'll pay for the meal. At this point, I got up, went to the front door, and paid my portion of the sushi and left. Thank God, it's about freaking time, amigo. I didn't say that I was leaving. I didn't say anything to her. I just got up, paid, and left. Good. Thank the Lord, it's about friggin' time. Well, about 5 minutes later, she texts me again asking me where I am. I text her saying I left. She starts blowing up my phone saying I'm rude, and I left her there, and she doesn't have money to pay for the sushi. Oh yeah? What about Daddy's company? I'm sure Daddy gave you a few credit cards you could charge up here. Give me a break. I said that's not my problem. I thought I'm the broke one. She's calling me, texting me, and I just blocked her number and go home. Am I the a-hole for leaving her without means to pay? Smack! Bro, you did the right thing by leaving her, but my God, you went through a whole lot of crap to get to that point. No, you're not the a-hole. She is an a-hole every step of the way, but she's doing all of it was on purpose. She picked the place, bad idea for drinks. She said all these negative things about it to obviously predictably get you to say, well, let's go someplace else. And you're probably hungry. You're a guy, you're 21. And then you take her to a place to eat. And then she's so arrogant about her manipulating you that she's just crapping on you. And then she insults you about school and what you're majoring in. And you probably have no money. And then trying to get you to be like, yes, I got money, I'll pay. No, you don't feel bad for treating people the way they treat you. And I guarantee she'll keep doing this. So, no, good for you. And in the future, and all you guys out there, first dates, one drink. And if the girl doesn't like it, and I promise you guys, there's so many entitled young women out there who think they're so amazing that they will scoff at that idea. Who cares? Move on to the next one. Do you really want to waste your time with a girl that won't give you the time of day because you say meet up for a drink? Anybody with common sense knows, quick drink. It's not going to take that long. But a lot of guys are just going to go ahead and keep doing this, and they're going to have to learn the hard way. So he did the right thing. So guys, first date, a drink. There are gals out there, they call them foodie calls, not booty calls, foodie calls. And they're going to use you and not care about you, never hear them again. If he paid for this, and say even the date went better, she wasn't as rude, and he paid for it, which he probably would have, you think you'd hear from her again? Only probably to get more free meals. Meanwhile, a girl like this, at the end of this date, would go over to the guy's house who doesn't do that to her and fuck his brains out. Guaranteed. Now a few comments here. One guy says here, not the a-hole. She showed multiple red flags and was straight up disrespectful. Let's break this down. She picked a place she knew and complained about it. Made racist assumptions about your sushi choice despite it being in her bio. Right. Mocked your education and career plans. Bragged about nepotism while insulting your financial situation. You pay for the drinks and your portion of food, that's fair. She asked you out initially, picked the first spot, and then acted entitled. If she can afford to be smug about a cushy job at Daddy's company, she can handle a sushi bill. Her lack of planning isn't your emergency. Pro tip, next time bounce at first to the red flag. No need to sit through that kind of treatment. Exactly. I mean, this guy's young. He's learned the hard way. You don't do that. Someone's treat you like crap. Walk. Who cares? Nice guys stick around. Next one says here, and pretty much what I thought all along in this whole story. Not the a-hole. I'll admit it, this chick is good. She was almost clever, but she still managed to expose herself and fumble at her own game. She only went out with you for the free meal. Duh. How do I know this? She asked you out to a place for drinks only to constantly complain about the venue. Like a good dude you are, you suggested going someplace else. Naturally, she didn't want to go to another bar for a drink, but was all too happy to go get some food. Shocker. That was by design. She's done this before. And she probably wouldn't have gotten away with it if it were not for the fact that she couldn't quite hide her bitch. She probably thought you were too weak to walk out on her and would still commit to the end of the date, and she dropped all restraint. That's exactly what happened. She's a pro at this. She was never into you. She wanted some sushi. She exposed herself and she complained about not having any money for it. She was trying to rope you into the free food and she failed. Good on you for walking out and well done. So there you go, guys. Like I said, first date, one drink. And you see a girl a few times, and until you're sleeping together, keep the dates inexpensive. Otherwise, you're going to be broke. And a lot of guys out there just do not have the self-respect and the balls to do that. And for those that don't, you deserve what you get. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.